Full name, Meda Paterson. One T in Paterson, because we're Scottish, you know, we don't waste ink on that extra T.
And when were you born, Meda?
July 17th, 1915.
Ah, whereabouts was
in Maple Creek, in the Paterson house that my grandpa, David Paterson, had built and raised his family there. He was with the Northwest Mounted Police. And I was born in that. The house is still there, was just south of the school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I had two brothers.
And what are their names?
Jimmy and Roy.
Mm-hmm.
The best brothers in the world.
Good.
Yeah. I was the youngest. And of course, everybody always said I had to be spoiled because I was the youngest and the only girl. But I wasn't. I could have been, but I wasn't.
And what were your parents' names?
My dad was William George Paterson, and Mom's name was Frances Folsom Gaff Paterson. Yeah, she was a Gaff. They came from Kansas and Nebraska in the 1800s. Come by covered wagon. It must have been an awful trek. 9 kids, and it must have been a bad one. But they got here anyway. Actually, they were headed for Pincher Creek, and when they got to Battle Creek, I guess Grandpa thought, this looks good to me, so that's where they stopped. And it was the first, the first people that was was there after it was surveyed, right from the surveying, you know. Mm-hmm. So that was, he was happy with right at Battle Creek there. I had the most wonderful childhood. I can remember when I was 3 years old, my grandpa owned besides being where he lived on Battle Creek when he first came from Kansas, besides there, he bought the Govenlock Hotel. Govenlock was quite a nice little village at that time. He bought the hotel there, and so my 2 brothers could go to school. Mom and my 2 brothers, Jimmy and Roy, and I moved down there and right to Govenlock. And Eva, now that's my mom's younger sister, she was looking after the hotel, and of course she needed help too, because on train night there was a lot of travelers came in and all the rooms would be full, and plus giving meals. So Mom and Eva, they were real busy people. And I can remember I was 3 years old when we were there. The boys could go to school, but I was too young. And I could remember being 3 because Eva was a real tease. She was fond of it, a real tease. And she'd say, "How old are you?" And I'd say, 3. "Oh, you're a flea, are you? You're a flea." And I was so good when I had a birthday, she couldn't say it anymore. Yeah. And then, well, we would go back to the ranch. Dad would come and pick us up and we'd go back to the ranch. We ranched, my Grandpa Paterson, he was from Scotland too, and came over when he was 18 years old with his parents to Toronto. And at that time, Toronto was York. That they started a hardware store there, and my grandpa, 18, he was too young to be sitting there. He wanted something a little more exciting, so he came west and joined the Northwest Mounted Police. There wasn't anything in Maple Creek at that time, just a detachment, just a police detachment is all there was at that time. And eventually he was married to a lady that came up from the States, and they had 5 boys and 1 little girl. You know? And then when they grew up, when they kids grew up. Grandpa was with the Northwest Mounted Police all those years, and when they grew up, the oldest one, he built the first Ford garage, actually glasscocks. That is still what my Grandpa Paterson built years and years ago. And he put his oldest son on that. He was a mechanic. And my dad, he bought the 10-mile detachment, police detachment, and put my dad and his brother, Uncle Charlie, on that to start ranching. And the next boy, Uncle Harry, he was an operator a telegraph operator in Maple Creek. And then there was Uncle Arthur. He was going to school, and my Auntie May was the youngest one. I was named after her, the youngest one. And they were still going to school. So, and then eventually, of course, with all the dances and all the good things that were going on, and these young people were having a great time, and Mom and Dad got acquainted and got married. And first they had my brother Jimmy. He was born in 1910, and my brother Roy was in 12, and I was born in 15. And that was our family. Everybody, but you know, it seemed like all my friends had sisters, and I never had a sister. And I asked Mom one time, why didn't you have another one? And maybe it'd been a sister for me. And of course, if you ever knew the Gaff bunch, they were the funniest, the craziest bunch of fun people. And a sense of humor like you wouldn't believe. And Mama said, well, babe, I was always called Babe. Well, babe, when we saw what a mess we made of you, we thought we'd better quit. Anyway, that was, and then we, oh yes, then we moved to Maple Creek for just one winter, and that was the winter of 1920 and 21, just for the winter so the boys could go to school. I wasn't old enough to go then, but I didn't care. I had my tricycle, and I thought it was great to be able to ride on the planks, you know, instead of the sidewalks, instead of out in the dirt. And,
that was a treat.
Oh yes, I had a lot of fun. Yeah, lived right next to Dr. Kerr. Mm-hmm. Actually, it was Dr. Kerr that brought me into the world, over at Grandpa's house. You know that sandstone house that just
okay.
south of the school.
That's a beautiful looking house.
It's a nice home, beautiful home, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But my grandpa passed away in 2nd of January in 1916. So, but when the boys were born, he gave them each a $5 gold piece, American $5 gold piece, and I just got under the gun to get mine because I was only 6 months old, you see, sure. when he passed away. Mm-hmm. So, and I still have it. Yeah. Other than that, and then when the boys rode to school to Maryflat. Then that's 7 miles from home, from down at where Wilkes Parsonage. They bought our home place from my brother Jimmy. And then when I was old enough to go to school, Dad bought us a horse and a buggy. So we went with horse and buggy for a while until Jimmy got old enough to go to Govenlock to go to high school. And then after that, Roy and I rode.
But that was your closest school.
Oh yes, and
7 miles away.
And there had been one just a few hundred yards from where we were raised, there on Battle Creek, where Wilkes is now. There was one there. That's where my mom and all the Gaff girls and Wileys and Gilchrists and McRae's and a lot of went to that school. And then when it was Well, we were ready to go to school. Well, it wasn't there. And then after we were finished school and didn't need it anymore, quite a few years after, they put another school there. So we were just in the middle of the...
Right in the middle of
right
all
in the,
that.
yes. Yeah, where it would have been so nice just to be able to walk a few hundred yards to school. But
That 7 miles must have been...
oh, that was wicked, especially in the winter months. Of course, it wasn't the winter months. It was from October on was sometimes quite cold, and it was very, very cold. And at that time, get to the school, and the fires were out, and it was cold too. And there was no. That's why I never liked.
Did they even have classes in those really cold months?
Well, they finished up at just before Christmas. We'd have our Christmas concert, and finish up, and then we were off until for January and pretty well February.
Okay.
We were off. But we didn't have holiday in the summer either. We were done out of our holiday because they had to get so many days in. You see.
Sure.
So.
And did you enjoy going to school?
I enjoyed baseball and steal a wedge and all those fun games. I enjoyed that, but no. I'd sit in the school and look out and I envied the birds. The birds were so free and happy out there. I envied those birds.
I bet.
But anyway, we had a great bunch of school kids. We were all good friends. And my favorite teacher was Dorothy. Well, she was Dorothy Blytheman, the Blytheman family in Maple Creek that owned the garages in Maple Creek. You know, Grace and all that. Ellen and Eva and Mary and all. Yeah, and she came out and taught. And she was the most wonderful teacher. And of course, her daddy having a garage, she always had a car to drive. And she would take us kids to baseball games and Council, Senate, Governor, all over the place, you know, and to dances. We even went to a dance at Elkwater. And the Elks Rat Orchestra they went to and was playing. And we stayed the rest of the night. Dorothy and I slept in her car, and the other girls, like it was Aggie and Bunty and Maisie, Kelly. They slept in the ladies' dressing room. And the next day we had a great time boating and swimming, and they started up a record player in the hall, and we all danced again. Guys come in and we...
Well, it was wonderful of the teacher to take you on such...
Oh, she was a wonderful teacher. She sure was. I never forget what she told me one time. I wasn't the best student, you know. I didn't have time to be in school. I wasn't a good student. She told me one time, you know, she said, Meda, if there's 2 ways to do a thing, you would do it the third. I used to, after we all grew up, you know, and we were always friends after that, I'd tease her about what she said to me. And, oh, Meda, you wasn't that bad. You really wasn't that bad. Yeah, she was a great teacher. And of course, she married George Anderson.
Okay.
Yeah, moved out to Trail, and with a lot of the rest of us that moved out to Trail.
So you spent some years in Trail, did you?
We got married in Maple Creek, and my brother Jimmy was out at Trail. He was working at the smelter, and he was out there, and he kept telling us, you know, this is a good place for young people. Well, at that time it was in the dirty 30s, and it was tough for young people. So we went out there.
So now you're married, and who did you get married to?
Oh, Lyle Wilson. This was his dad's place. This is where he lived. So we got married. But we just we had everything packed. Our camping outfit, a tent, and the camp stove, and everything. We had everything all packed, and we headed for Trail. And we camped at the Brooks Auto Court. I'll never forget that name. And under an apple tree, we had our tent. It was an umbrella tent. It was 9 by 9, an umbrella tent. You just go in there and push it up like an umbrella, you know, and it had a floor in it and everything. And every once in a while, when we were in there, you'd hear plunk, and here was an apple that would fall on the on the tent. And then well, he didn't get a job right away, but we got acquainted with. He was a lawyer, and anyway, he lent us money to buy the. Dixie, are you there? What kind of a camp was that?
A relief camp.
A relief camp where the government had guys come, well, so they wouldn't starve to death at that time. And we bought, there was 34 buildings on it, and we bought that and had it pulled down and sold on the lumber and everything.
Oh.
And
They wanted it torn down?
yes, he did.
There was no more use for it?
No more use for it. That's right. And tore that down and sold all the lumber. And we kept it was a machine shed for our house. Oh, and in the meantime, when we had met, he was real estate, and he was quite the big shot in trail at that time, being a lawyer and everything. D.J. Anderson, his name was. Now, how do I remember that when I can't remember what happened yesterday? But anyway, he lent us money, and we bought 21 acres on the trail, north of trail, on the Trail Nelson Highway. We bought 21 acres on both sides of the highway and subdivided it into lots and sold the lots. And we brought that one house from the relief camp, and we wanted that one because, you know, at that time there was bed bugs, and all these guys from everywhere. There was bed bugs in most of the cabins, so we took the one that was a machine shed, so there wouldn't be any bed bugs. And that's what we put on our lot. Yeah, we put on our lot, and Lyle got a job at the smelter, and for a year or so, and then our Larry was born. We were married in 37, and Larry was born in 39, and oh, how proud! Oh, he was just the best little boy ever.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, it was wonderful, yes, to have him.
The sewing machine you're sitting in front of, is that connected to trail?
Yeah, got that at trail, yes. I wasn't a good sewer, but I could make little shirts for Larry with that, and I won the sewing machine. Lyle wasn't happy about. He wanted for us to live on our the rent that we got from our cabins. We had cabins built on our lots too, you see, and he wanted to live on that, and I wanted this $28 sewing machine. So I got my sewing machine.
Good.
Yeah.
And used it lots, I bet.
No, not really lots, because I wasn't a sewer.
Oh.
Mom was a good sewer, so I never learned how to sew actually. So, but I made little suits for Larry.
How many years would you have been in trail?
It would have been from 37 till the end of 41 would have been, because we would have been there, I imagine, for a long time, because Lyle was on the police force, and he was going to be, what is the next step down from the chief of police?
Constable?
No, more than that. There I go again, I forget.
But higher up.
Yeah, oh yes, higher up, yes. And he was going to be that when when Lyle's dad was kicked by a horse here on the ranch and died. So we came back. We came back. Of course, I was glad to come back because it'd be near my parents and home again, my brothers. Yeah. Yeah. So then we built a house right here on this very spot. Yeah, that's where Larry was born at Trail, of course, and Wayne was born in Medicine Hat, and so was Dixie and Penny. All my kids were born in Medicine Hat.
What year was Wayne born?
Wayne was born 24th of June in 43. Dixie was born in the 1st of June in 47. And Penny was born December the 18th in 48. 48.
They're close together, the girls.
18. They're just like twins. And they've been like twins ever since. They love to be
Always close.
Love to be together. They've always got along so well. Yeah, yeah. All my kids did.
So Lyle grew up right here?
This is where he grew up. Yes. Yeah. His dad bought this right from the time it was surveyed in 1902. And this is where he was raised too, along with 2 sisters and 2 brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were Lyle's parents' names?
W.S. Wilson was his dad, and his mother was Amy Pearl George. That's
Pearl Amy.
How did you and Lyle meet?
Oh, I guess we'd always at picnics. You know, there used to be a lot of picnics and dances and things like that. And I think we sort of just about always knew each other from picnics and things like that, you know. And then, of course, it dances and you know how the guys would ask the girl, would you be my partner for the dance? Well, sure. And then they'd ask, would you be my partner for the next dance that's going to be here? You know? But the young guys didn't have cars, so we always went with, of course, Mom and Dad, they were great for going to dances too. They loved dances, and we'd go. Dad had a truck, good-sized truck, and it could go through anything, and we'd go to all kinds of dances. My Mom and Dad were the best. They were fun. Just the best parents in the world. They'd take us to Havre too, a lot of the time, and stay over, and we'd go to a show and come back to the room, and Dad would say, okay, kids, get ready for bed. He'd go down to downtown someplace and buy us hot tamales. Have you ever had hot tamales? They're
Candy.
kind of something like a taco in a
Those kinds.
in a corn husk, and they're hot. They'd bring them up hot, and we'd have that.
Neat.
Oh, had just the best parents to make the time go faster on the road. They would we'd have games. They'd take horses. Okay, one of us would have a horse. The horses, count the horses, count the cows, count the fence posts, count the telephone. And then they would sing us songs, crazy songs, to make the time go faster.
Good.
Oh, they were just the best parents in the world. Fun. And none of us ever got a spanking. Never got a spanking. I always said the boys needed it, but they did. They were good. Yeah, they were.
So lots of picnics and lots of dances.
Oh, yes. Yes, growing up. Yeah. Especially in my teenage years, we just had wonderful times.
Good.
Yeah. I was a very, very lucky person. Yeah.
And were they generally just at somebody's barn dance or at one of the schools? Or where were the dances?
Well, Mary Flat, there was always something doing at Mary Flat. And And Governlock, they had a wonderful hall in Governlock, the best hardwood floor, they said, in the country. And that was always nice to have a dance at Governlock, because my Aunt Allie then had taken over the Governlock Hotel from my Aunt Eva. And Eva come to the ranch, you know, this ranch that's well, who has it now? It used to be called the Ponderosa, who all had it. Ernest Pettyjohn and yes, and McLuhan and and Paul Knights.
Right.
The four of them had it, and then he sold it, I guess. But they. Oh yes, so I was telling you about how nice it was to have the dances at the Governlock. Because my Aunt Allie, she had the hotel at that time, and she would always ask all of us there for midnight lunch. Mm-hmm. And of course, I always got asked whatever partner I had for the night. I always asked too, and you know, I had a wonderful, wonderful childhood and teenage. Wonderful.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, then when we came back here, then Wayne was born in '43. Had a wonderful life.
Great.
Except losing Larry. When you lose one of your kids, you never get over it. Yeah, that was.
What year did that happen? Meda?
That happened 72.
Was it an accident?
Yeah, right there at Cliff Smith's Bridge. Mm-hmm. Another kid was driving Larry's truck, and it was the first snow in this. It's September. Actually, the dirty old 23rd of September. I've hated 23rd ever since.
Yes.
And this kid, he had been helping them ride, and they were going into council for something. So Larry, he was big, 6'4". He was a big guy. He never wanted to sit in the center. The hired man was sitting on the outside, and this kid, Howard McKenzie, actually his name was, from Maple Creek. He just stopped his car out beside the road and just got in on the driver's side and drove, you know, Larry's car. And he was driving, and I guess that was Larry's last words. It was snowing, you see, and it was Larry's last words to straighten it out. He was going to cross the bridge. Instead of the road going straight like that, to save a few bucks, I guess, to save a little money, they put the bridge on an angle, and so many people had accidents they couldn't make the turn. I guess that was Larry's last words, according to the hired man. That he said, "Straighten it out, Howard, you can't make it." And he didn't. He hit the side of the bridge and upside down hit the creek. Yeah, right at Cliff Smith's.
How old was Larry?
I think he was 29. I think.
33.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks, Dixie. You see, that's how I'm out. Well, he had two kids, Davy and Marcy. They were about 7 and 9, something like that. Oh, it's something you never get over. Every time I see a truck, yet he liked to truck because he was tall and, you know, room for his hat. He liked to truck. The car was too
confining.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Every time I see a truck, and especially with a cowboy hat in there, you know, it's there all the time.
That's right.
And family jokes, all kinds of things. It reminders all the time.
What about the Senate dance hall upstairs? Remember it used to.
Yes,
tell
above.
that story.
There was a dance hall at Senate?
Yeah, above the store.
Oh.
He danced above the store. Why, Dixie? I don't.
When they used to do one dance, everybody go one direction, and then remember? And then they'd go the other direction.
Oh yeah, what dance was that? Oh, it was one of those old time dances. Everybody He'd go all the one way, and that whole hall would just sway. Then he'd go back the other way, it would sway. Or it just changed. Yeah.
What about the barn dance? Would that be it?
I think you're right, Dixie. I think you're right. It would be the barn dance.
Barn dance.
You know how the guy'd be behind, you know, and you'd go the other. Oh, they used to dance them those old dances all the time. Yeah.
Square dancing too? Was that
yes.
popular?
Oh yes, it was then too. Yeah, yeah. Oh, there's a lot of good old dances. I feel sorry now for the young people that they don't know how to dance. It's no wonder, because the music, it isn't music anymore. There's no time, there's no rhythm, there's no beat, you know, so there's nothing to dance to anymore.
Yes.
But it's too bad, you know, that's where you met people and had such wonderful times.
So when you came back here after Lyle's dad passed away, did you just move into?
No, we built a house. Yeah, we built a house. It's right on the same spot.
Oh yeah.
Right on the same spot. Yeah, we built a house here, and Carl, they had built a house over across there by the weir. That's where he lived, and of course, when everything was settled after Lyle's dad's estate, which there wasn't anything at that time. You know, it was in the 30s. It was bad, and actually, when things were settled, Lyle and Carl, all they had was 7-headed doggies. Edna owned more of them, and so to get more cattle, to get started, you know, in ranching, the Linder brothers. Now that, when I was growing up there in Battle Creek, well, where Wilkes is now, that's where I grew up. And the Linder brothers, they were big ranchers. They lived just to the north of us. Well, where Ross Meyerback, that was the Linder Ranch. Okay. They were quite well-to-do ranchers. And they were just like uncles to us. There were 4 of them. And they were like uncles. And they started us up in cattle when Lyle and I come back from trail. Great. Started us up on shares. We looked after all the cattle for half the calves.
Great.
So that was a good deal. That's the way we got started in cattle.
Mm-hmm. That was good you had that.
Oh, they were wonderful.
Opportunity.
Oh, you bet. They were wonderful guys. There was a post office and store just about half a mile from home, or right on the creek. And the Linder brothers, they had land over, well, where Meyerbox. They had land there. And when they'd come back to go home at the upper place, just north of our place, where Ross Meyerbock is now, they would always stop at the store and get chocolate bars and gum and all kinds of stuff like that. And they'd, if we didn't see them coming, they had whistles and they'd throw chocolate bars and gum and all out into our yard. They were great guys. They were wonderful guys. Yeah, just like uncles to us, and always were, right from up until they passed away. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then you were able to build a herd and
yes,
get into the ranching.
Yeah.
Good. Did you have quite a few horses as well?
Well, Lyle's dad, that was horses at that time. That was before the tractors came in, you know, and he couldn't get it out of his head that horses weren't always going to be valuable. And Lyle wanted to this is before we were married, Lyle wanted to get into cattle, you see. Lyle had put up hay, which was sparse at that time too, and for his cattle, he had just a few cattle, trying to get a start. This is before we were married. And his dad had, like Lyle would say, bring in those old bang-tailed horses and feed up all of the hay that he had for his cattle. So that's sort of how we left to go to trail. Lyle got mad at his dad for feeding up so So
Or something else.
that's how we kind of country. Yeah, but oh, was it ever nice to come back. Back, Mom and Dad were home there, and my brothers, and it was nice to come back. And it wasn't that far from home, you see, just down the creek. Yeah.
And your parents then were at Mary Flat when you were here
Battle Creek.
at Battle Creek?
Yeah, yeah. They were still well. Then they sold out to my two brothers, Jimmy and Roy. Jimmy kept the home place, and they bought the Jan place just north and west of Govenlock. It was a big ranch too, and that Roy was on that. Yeah, and then that's when Mom bought the house. Well, the house that Dan is in now. That was at that time it was Walter and Clem Hulahaws.
Okay.
And it used to be a George Kennedy. He homesteaded it years and years and years ago. Mom bought it from Hulahaws and brought it down here. And she had the best sense of humor. She was so much fun. Actually, Mom was more like a fun sister than a mother because she was so much fun.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the kids just loved her. Yeah.
That was Ma Pat.
That, yes. That was the Linders that dubbed her Ma Pat, and they had gone to school with her and the Wileys and the Gilchrists, and they'd all went to school on Battle Creek, where the school was, just a few hundred yards from where I was raised. But there was no school then. When we came along, there was no school. Well, we were the only kids on Battle Creek. So, and then after we didn't need the school anymore, after we had our schooling, they brought another school down and hooked it on to where the school used to be, where Mom went.
Okay.
So we were just in the middle of no school.
Right?
Yeah. But we went to Govenlock School and to Maple Creek a little bit. And
Where did your children go to school? Larry and Wayne and
well, to start with, here at West Plains School, just 3 miles south of here, and then there was only Larry and Wayne here to go to school, so they went to Oxrat School. They had a tractor with a cab on, and they went to the Oxrat School. And that's where Dixie started too. She was only 5 when she started, which she shouldn't have been, because she should have been home playing, having fun, instead of going to school. But Millie Pridmore wanted her to go because this little Betty Mapstone started, and she didn't want to go to school, so she thought if Dixie was there that she'd have more interest in it. So, and then by that time the Horton family moved in, and so we got our West Plains School going.
Good. And where would they have gone to high school?
To Consul. Then we had a bus route. They went to high school there.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from there, well, then Dixie took nurse's training. She has her RN, and Penny went to Garbutt's Business College in Medicine Hat. Although by that time, we had turned the place over to Larry and Wayne. And so we lived up at Medicine Hat. And that's where Dixie was taking her nurse's training, and Penny took Garbutt's Business College.
What were some of the summertime fun times that you would have?
Oh heavens, there would be picnics and going to the park and going to Havre. We went to Havre quite a lot of the time. Anyway, The music festival at Havre was always a must. That was always in, usually landed on Mother's Day in May. And they would block the streets off, all the streets off at Havre, and there'd be bands from all different states would come. And they'd have their bands at all the intersections and in between, and it was wonderful.
Oh.
Yeah, we always enjoyed that. We'd usually stay over a couple of nights. Yeah, that was always something to look forward to. Oh, we went to Havre a lot. It was sort of our town. And I don't know, we'd go to the park, Cypress Park, and swim and just have nice days.
I remember you saying something about ball tournament and other games at Fort Walsh one year. Do you remember what year that was? And
Oh,
tell me about that.
that was when the north side of the Cypress Hills challenged the south to put in corner stones for the fort wall for the blockade that went around the fort, and that was a challenge for all the way from baseball. And this was ladies and men's both. They had their captains, and there'd be 6 people on each team. And my mom was the captain for the ladies' 22 rifle shooting, and that was all the way from Horseshoe to, I can't remember what all there was. The men had their shooting too, and their baseball, and I can't remember just what all games that we had. Anyway, our South won the most points, so the North had to put the cornerstones in.
Well, congratulations. Do you have an idea about when that would have been at all, Meda?
Oh my goodness.
Did you have kids then?
It was, well, it would have been, I would think, in the early 30s likely.
Okay.
Before I was married, so it would be in the early 30s.
Neighbor get-togethers when your kids were growing up too?
Yes, yeah, there was. There was good times. We went to Vidora. Vidora was a little town at that time, and Robsart was quite the busy little town too, for dances and all that kind of thing. Yeah, we had a lot of good friends around Robsart and Senate and Gowanlock and.
Some card parties?
Oh yes, there were card parties. Yeah, Mama used to put on card parties, and she'd done the most fancy baking for her card parties. They'd be, well, it'd be whist. It was whist, you see,
Sure.
and at that time. And of course, after when we were here for quite a while, well, then it started to be poker parties. We had good poker parties. Bus and Gladys Johnson and Wendell and Zelda Peterson and Klaus and Betty Wennis and Daria and Noella Peterson and Albert and Arneson from Vidora. They had a store in Vidora, and they were our poker gang, and we'd take turns. Every 2 weeks, we'd take turns having a party at our place and having the suppers, and it was great. We had great times. Then it got so there was quite a few of us, so there was enough for the men to have a table. Poker table, and enough for us ladies to have a poker table. So we had wonderful times.
What year was it when you left the ranch here?
We bought our home in the Hat in '65.
Where do you live now, Meda?
I live at South Country Village, Medicine Hat. Yeah.
And have you been in that location for a while now?
I've been there in October. It will be 40 years.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have good times there. I've always been able to drive and go where I wanted, when I wanted, until just the last couple of months when my eyes have gone to pot on me. It's made a big change in my life. But what do I expect for my age?
So Meda, you've been quite a traveler over the years.
I
Tell us
have.
about some of your trips.
I've done a lot of traveling in the last few years, a lot of different places. But what Dixie is mentioning, Lyle wanted to go to Mexico, and I wanted to go to Hawaii. Now this is the kids that was pretty well grown up by that time, and so we went to Mexico. Next year, then we went to Hawaii. There was 4 couples of us, and we had a wonderful time in Hawaii. And then we flew back from there. And then what else did we do? Well, I guess that's when we went to Medicine Hat then, I guess. And like I say, we went our separate ways then. And I took a hostess dining room course at the college. That was a whole winter course. That was a fun thing too. There was 34 of us took that course, and we had wonderful times. And the cooks, there was a cook's course too, chefs, real chef courses, and we would serve meals. Anybody that wanted meals, they'd come out there, and we would hostess and serve them. That's the way we got our training too. Yeah. That was fun. And of course, at that time, there was lots of dances, and the Elks Club was the place to be at that time. Dances every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Wonderful orchestras, good music at that time, real good dance music. Yeah, so that's.
So what years about are we in now, Meda? Is that in about the 70s?
Yeah, the latter 70s and in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. And at that time then I started going to casino trips.
You were born back in 1915, and now we're all the way to 2013. Can you hardly wrap your head around the changes?
Oh my goodness. Such a change. Well, for good and bad. Like I say, we always loved dances, and over there for years, the dancing was just wonderful. I was doing dance and card parties. I had two poker groups. Every night. My one poker group was Wednesday night poker, and we would play every Wednesday night. That was so much fun. And then I had another group. I called them my all-nighters because sometimes I didn't get home until 4 o'clock in the morning from that poker game. Yeah, we loved our poker. And in between time, there was all kinds of just cards. Somebody would phone up, come on over, let's come over for coffee, we'll have some cards in the afternoon or so,
Were you a pretty good card shark?
Well, I could hold my own. yeah, I still can, but it's since my eyes have gone to pot on me, I can't see the cards that are up around the table like I used to. So my card games are getting a little less.
Do you think people just don't do enough of that?
Oh, they don't do it. It's phone now, and then there's Twitter stuff. Oh,
And the television.
I think people are missing out so much. The younger people, of course, they don't know, any different. Of course, no doubt they think that we're missing out because, you see, I don't have a computer. I don't do all this twiddle stuff. I don't know, and I know it's wonderful too. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing too. But it's just a different way of life. Mm-hmm. But I am glad that I was born in the era that I was. We had wonderful, wonderful times. So,
That's great.
and no doubt the young people probably feel sorry for us old pioneers way back then, too.
Now, Meda, I'm wondering, do you think you have a recipe to give us for a good, long life? Do you think you know?
Well, I think to start with, I had good genes. Mom and Dad, they were so healthy too, and just so with it in so many things. They loved to go to dances. We went to all the dances for miles around, and we just had such healthy, fun times too.
Good.
And my two brothers they were such good guys. We just had the five of us would go places so much of the time, to Maple Creek and different places, and do a lot of things. And we just had a real healthy life.
Good.
And I think that's why, then that just carried on all through my life.
Mm-hmm.
I was so very fortunate. Yeah. It was just good times.
Good.
And so many good friends. So many friends that just real, true, honest, sincere, good, fun friends. Mm-hmm. For dances and card parties and everything. Yeah.
In years to come, what do you want people to remember about you?
Oh, heavens. Well, just that I enjoyed people, and my kids, my family was my everything. Like most mothers, I think I just had the best kids in the world. They were so thoughtful and so good, just good manners, and still are. I just had the best kids. I just can't say enough good about them.
Great.
Yeah. Lots of good times and sense of humor, and we traveled a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Traveling. What, you travel a bit with Penny and Dixie to places too?
Oh yes, Mazatlan. That's right. The first time I was to Mazatlan, I went with Wynn and Shirley Whirl Walker and Bunty Jones. That was a fun time. And then the next time we went, Penny and Dixie and Julie, Penny's second daughter, we went to Mazatlan, and Dixie and I parasailed.
Oh.
That was a fun thing. You get way up there, and you just feel like the whole world is yours. There's nothing up there but you, and the whole world is yours.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Oh, and another two good trips I had was to Cuba. That was fun times too. And that's where I swam with the dolphins.
Did you?
At Cuba. That was strange. The dolphins are so clever. They have the closest brain to a human. They are so clever. We would lay out in the ocean with on our tummies like that, and the trainer would send the dolphins on each side of us and pick us up. I don't know how they can balance us, but they would pick us up right out of the water and bring us right back to the trainer.
Wow.
It was Penny. I should have her picture. Of course, they take pictures of you coming in on the dolphins, and she's just coming in just to scream it. It's wonderful. She should be on the front page of a sports magazine. It's so good. Yeah, that was fun. And the trainer asked me, "Do you want to ride one?" Well, sure. So he said, "Well, get on, but you know, there's nothing to hang on to on a dolphin there." So I just held on like this, and he took me out into the ocean, and it was a nice little. Yeah,
89 then.
89? I guess I was 89 then, yeah.
And 90 when you parasailed.
And 90 when I parasailed.
Oh, wonderful. You just didn't slow down, did you?
Oh, I tell you.
That's awesome.
Like I say, I've had a wonderful, wonderful life.
Well, you're an inspiration to the rest of us.
Well, thank you.